We're talking about a super simple shift that's going to supercharge your motivation. I'm Ann Tucker, and this is the Spirit Means Business YouTube channel. I hope you will like this video and subscribe using that little button in the corner. So let's talk about, as a business owner and a spiritual person, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is a conflict between these two philosophies, the philosophy of business and the philosophy of spirituality, when it comes to your motivation in terms of what you desire. So in business, we get motivated, and the school of thought around business is that you get motivated by your goals, that we're supposed to set goals. So your goals might be you're going to make X number of dollars by the end of the quarter, or you're going to have X number of clients by the end of the quarter, right? And there's all kinds of best practices around how those goals are supposed to be set. So your goals are supposed to be specific, and they're supposed to be measurable, right? These are all the things that are and the idea is, and we've been told over and over again, that if you don't set a goal, if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there, right? So goal setting is, almost a religion within the concept of business. So you're supposed to have your business plan and lay it all out. So a super important concept in business. But the problem and the sort of the elephant in the room, this area of conflict where we have to talk about it, is that when you have a goal, when you're working towards something, it automatically assumes that thing, you can only work towards something if it's outside of yourself, if you're apart from it, if it doesn't currently belong to you, right? You can only be working towards having those extra clients if you don't currently have them. And you can only work towards more money if you don't currently have it. So it is a fundamentally sort of third dimensional concept, and it requires this idea that you are separate from the world around you. Well, in spirituality, we're working towards this fifth dimension thinking, which is this idea of oneness, where we are part of everything and everything is part of us, that there is no separation, that this idea that you're working towards something, how can you work towards something that you already have, that's already part of you? So this leaves us as spiritual business owners with a pretty big problem, which is that how the heck do you motivate yourself if everything is already part of you? I already have everything. I don't need to do anything, right? But that won't work, because of the fact that, man, having a business is hard, right? It's really challenging. And there's so many things that you have to do that you don't know how to do. You're risking failure all the time. You probably have experienced a lot of failure as a business owner. It's challenging, and you have to be super self-motivated, because there's nobody who's telling you what to do, right? You're the one that has to sort of get up and get yourself going to find that internal strength to keep at it every day, and you need something to motivate you, right? So what do you do as a spiritual person? How do we resolve this? And the interesting thing is that this concept of desire, the concept of wanting something, is not aspiritual, right? It's not something that's outside of spirituality. In fact, your desire can be an incredibly important spiritual tool. And this is getting to the shift that we need to make that's going to supercharge your motivation. So we know, and you know, that we are all creators, right? That we're creating all the time. That it's all like creative energy, light energy is coming through you, and you're like a projector, and there's like that film on the end of the projector that colors all the light that's coming through it and projects out onto the wall. And that film is you, all of your thoughts, beliefs, experiences, everything about you then is projected out into your reality and creates your experience. And as a business owner, a spiritual business owner and a conscious business owner, you want to try to harness that creative tool, right? You want to try to control your creative tool so that you're creating the business that you want, right? And you're trying not to create from that place of lack, trying to create this business that is your dream of who you want to be, what your business wants to be. And so we use all of those sort of spiritual tools of thinking about it as if we already have it. We try to control our thoughts, right? We try affirmations, all of these things to try to master this natural creative implement that we have, which is ourselves, right? Our all of our various bodies. We're trying to control it so that we can create what it is that we consciously want to create. Well, there is an aspect of you that naturally will bring all of yourself into alignment towards the thing that you want. So, and that is your desire. So in this way, your desire becomes an incredibly important creative and spiritual tool. So think about this. So have you ever been in a room and seen somebody walk in the room that is really interesting to you? Maybe it's a person that you admire, someone who's famous, that is someone you respect, or that maybe it's someone that you've had a crush on, right? And this person comes in the room, and you may be having a question or a conversation with somebody here, but that peripheral vision is watching this person as they come in the room, and you're tracking them all the time with your peripheral vision, because you don't want to be creepy, right? You don't want to stare, or you don't want them to see you staring. So you're trying really, really hard not to look. But even though you're trying really hard not to look, it's like all of your spidey senses are tingling as you're super aware of where this person is in the room and what they're doing. You could be having a total conversation here with somebody else, and your spidey sense ears are listening and trying to catch what this person is saying on the other side of the room, right? So even though you are trying super hard not to direct your attention and your creative power to that person, you can't help yourself. And the same thing happens if you've ever been at a restaurant with someone and they order something that looks way better than what you ordered. And you're trying really, really hard not to stare, like not to look at the food. And so you're like making eye contact, but just your eyes just keep like dropping down to the food. And they obviously see it, right? Like you're trying so hard not to do it, but finally they probably are going to offer you a bite. So maybe you don't do that. That happens to me. So, but anyways, the point is that despite the fact that you're trying super hard not to look at something, not to direct your creative energy, all of your senses, all of your awareness towards something, when you want it, you can't help it, right? You can't keep it from going there. So this is a hugely powerful creative tool, your desire, that natural want, when you truly want something, right? And so where do we have this disconnect then? If want is such an animating force, if want is so powerful that we can't consciously prevent it from directing our focus, why is it that we have such a hard time working towards our business goals, right? What's different about those two things? Right? What is that separation there? And the big question gets down to looking at your business goals, looking at what those desires are, or what those goals are, is that they're usually coming from a place of lack, right? So think about that. So money, if you're saying, okay, I want to create more money, I want to have more money in the future, and that's my goal, and you may feel a strong desire for money, but that desire is coming from the experience of not having money. Right? It's from the experience of wanting to get away from not having money. And same thing with, having more clients. All of those things are coming from the experience of not having them right now. So if you're projecting lack into the future, then you create more lack. And yes, if you go through the mental exercise of feeling it as if you already have it, that can help. But it's still, at the same time, you're still creating from this experience of wanting to have something that you don't currently have. And that feeling of lack, that energy of lack, whatever you're putting out there, that's what's going to come right back to you. And we know that in our business, that if you come into your business with the wrong energy, that's what's going to be coming, as what you're going to achieve, what you're going to arrive at the end when you finally get there, is exactly what it is that's inside of you right now. And so it's an interesting thing that if you have the desire for money, even if you're somebody who's really, really great at manifesting money, if that's out there and you're saying, I'm trying to work towards earning more money, how many times have you heard the person that is able to build a huge business and make tons and tons of money, and it's never enough, right? That there's that giant bucket of want or desire that is just a black hole, and you could pour into it, and it never makes any difference, and that person never feels satisfied, never feels fulfilled, and that goal, that finish line that they're trying to hit, it just keeps moving further and further and further away. And that's because they're projecting lack, right? They're projecting lack forward. So even when they achieve the goal that they set, what they experience is the lack. So they're getting the thing they want, but the experience is more lack because that's what they projected was lack. So what is it? And that lack is underneath it all is fear, right? So you're coming from a place of fear. And most of our business goals are really coming from a place of fear of not having, not being, not doing enough. And it coming at this a little bit differently from a different perspective opens things up in a totally different way. So let's talk about how we can shift and change this. And in order to do that, we have to talk about desire that comes, it's a spiritual desire coming from a place that is in alignment with who you are as a creator. And if you think about Source, back before anything existed, Source by itself, what did Source want, right? What did Source desire? And Source, if you think about Source floating around in space or wherever, in the nothingness, says, I want to know, who am I? Right? Who am I? And what can I do? Who can I be? What can I express? Right? These are the questions that Source would ask itself when it's floating by itself. And those thoughts, those original questions, are what then spur the creation of the universe. So for you, as a reflection of that Source, right, as an aspect of Source energy, a creative being that you are, those same questions are what animates you. Who am I? Right? What is it that I can be? Who can I be? What can I create in the world? How can I most impact the world? Those are the questions that speak to your soul. Those are the ones that can get you up in the morning, that can align all of your creative implements towards that expression. So, and knowing what this is, knowing what it is, what is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to express? That sounds like a really simple thing. Like, we should know that, right? We should know what it is. Like when I say, who am I? That should be an answer because who do you know better than yourself, right? It should be something that you're able to just answer. Who am I? What do I want to express in the world? But it's really hard for us. That's one of those things that is incredibly difficult for us to see. And so think about for yourself, in terms of the things that you are very, very best at, you tend to undervalue them. And the things that you place value on are the things that are hard for you, are the things that you can't do. And because of the fact that it takes so much more work and so much more effort to do the things that are hard, they feel like they have more value to you. When in fact, the things that you're good at, other people can't do. And for other people, those things are valuable, right? The thing that is magic for you, the thing that you just do naturally without even trying, the thing that you don't really appreciate about yourself. And it's tragic that you don't see what is most beautiful about you, right? About what it is that you create in the world, that you don't see how it impacts other people. And finding that piece, that is really the key that's going to unlock this ability to motivate yourself in alignment with yourself as a creator. So how do you find that? How do you find that answer? What is it that you're best at? What is it that your deep internal why? And don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging, because I do have a quiz that I developed that will help you find that answer. So it's going to take you as far as understanding which one of 4 different deep internal motivations drives you. So, and there's 4 different ones. It's a short quiz. It takes you about a minute to take it, but it will tell you what is it that truly drives you at the core. And with that information, you can then look at how that is expressed into your goals and into your desires. So there's a quiz that you take, and then at the end you'll receive a report that tells you about what it means, and then it'll tell you how to write intentions that are in alignment with that intrinsic motivation. I call it the intrinsic motivation quiz. So I hope you'll take it. It's in the comments down below. I'll put a link to it. It's on my website, bizenergetics.com. So it's like I said, and the link is right below. So I think you'll find it to be really, really valuable. And I hope this conversation has spurred in you a deeper thought around your goals, around the way that you've been pushing yourself and trying to motivate yourself forward. Because really, by making this shift to be more in alignment with yourself as a creator, running a business is not apart from spirituality. It's one of the most spiritual things that you can do, because of the fact that running a business requires that you push yourself out of your comfort zone, and that you use all 7 aspects of creative source energy, that you grow yourself as a creative person to be able to do things, to really to work in all aspects of creation. So in my mind, business is one of the fast tracks to spiritual growth. So, and it makes sense that understanding what drives you as a creator, what is that deep internal why, that is a very spiritual thing. So anyways, thanks for joining me, and I will see you again here on the Spirit Means Business channel next week.